Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the second annual MCHS Leadership Summit. We're so glad you guys are here. You're going to hear from two amazing groups as they present today on leadership. We're asking a few things out of audience members. Number one, that you guys be respectful and give the respect that these leaders deserve while they're presenting. So far, our students have been absolutely amazing, and we expect that to continue forth out. Number two, if you guys can fill out your handout, you should be able to put the leadership nugget for each presentation along with a takeaway that you have. When I go to leadership conferences, I take notes, helps me remember the information, and then apply it to my life. And we're hoping you guys can do the same. And then number three, we really need you guys to participate. Okay, it's a smaller group. Are you guys ready? Are you willing to participate during these presentations? Yeah. Not a lot of energy there. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. So, with that being said, our first group has a great topic on time management. Let's welcome to the stage Ellie, Mary, and Madison.
Alright, good morning everybody. I hope you're having a great day so far. As Mr. Stern said, I'm Madison. I'm Maddie. And I'm Marilyn. And to start our presentation today, we're going to need everybody to grab out their phones.
Yay!
I know you think this week about no phones. We're going to need to take yours out and go to the settings. Once you're in settings, you're going to find a page titled Screen Time, and then go look at what yesterday's screen time was. And once you are done with that, you can stand up.
Stand up, everyone, please.
Once again, once you're there, make sure you stand up. Take a seat. If you have under 3 hours, please take a seat. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have over 10 hours of screen time yesterday, please stay standing. Chores, anything for practice, any sports, activities, everything they needed to get done yesterday, raise your hand if you got that done yesterday. Okay, quite a few of you. Okay, so this activity was just to show a correlation between the time on your phone and how much work you get done. We think that devices and like phones, laptops, any of that kind of stuff can be a distraction when you're trying to get your work done or any other activities that you have to get done. And as honors and AP students are also in a lot of extracurriculars and sports, we get it. We know that there can be a lot on your plate, and it's really easy to fall into those distractions. Yeah, like she said, work can pile up and it can be very stressful to think about that. But we're here to discuss how to manage your time and how to manage all of that effectively and give you examples. And don't worry, this presentation isn't just about screen time. I have plenty of screen time too, but it's about how to manage your time effectively, and we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do that throughout this presentation. Yeah, so the idea that we created this entire presentation around is great leaders prioritize what they value most. That's going to be our leadership nugget that you write down on that sheet. And basically, the gist of it is that the best leaders are the ones who are able to find extra time to be available to those people who need them. So it doesn't mean that they don't have their own work to do. They're more efficient with their time in getting it done so they can make themselves available to lead and help others that are in their charge.
So our tactic to teach you guys about time management is to go over what we've researched as being the Eisenhower method. The Eisenhower method is a time management technique that will teach you to reorganize and order tasks you have and teach you how to allot specific time for the tasks you find the most important in your life. This method has 4 key components, which are do, decide, delegate, and delete, and we'll go over those starting now.
So the basis of the Eisenhower method is the diagram of urgent, not urgent, important, and not important. And each of those 4 squares in that diagram have a name and a way that we're going to try to help you decide what falls into what category. So the first one is do. These are urgent and important tasks. It's the things that have to get done, like your homework that's due tonight or the dinner that you have to cook, those types of things. And we kind of saw earlier that our phones can be a huge distraction in getting stuff done, and those are not the only distraction. Other things like television, hobbies, your friends, those can be distractions too. And the biggest tip that we have for getting those things done that fall into the do category are to eliminate those distractions. And it can be hard, but one of the ways that we will manage our time in the do category is by time blocking. So doing 20 minutes of work and then a 10-minute break. Or for me, I also like to do it with like music. I'll put 6 or 7 songs in the queue, and I'll know that I'm going to work while I listen to those 6 or 7 songs. I'm not going to touch my phone. It's going to go on the other side of the room, so I have no motivation to grab it. Or another way that we do it is visualizing, putting out all of the tasks that you have to get done. You're going to be more motivated to do those things when you can see them all in one place and then clear them away once they're done. So the next part of this is decide, and decide is important but not urgent tasks. So these are tasks that are going to contribute to your long-term goals, but they don't need to be done right now. So an example of this is, let's say you just got a project in one of your classes, but it's not due for another 2 months. You don't need to get it done by tomorrow, but you still need to plan out your time effectively to make sure you have enough time and resources to get it done by that due date. One thing that I like to do that helps me out a lot is I have a Google Calendar in my phone, and I put all of my tasks, practices, work schedules, games, any of that stuff in my calendar for months ahead so I can plan out my time around all of those tasks and everything that I have going on in my life at that time.
Okay, the next key component is delegate. This is for tasks that are urgent but less important. So sometimes these tasks are really hard to get accomplished because you see your end goal. Maybe my end goal is going to college in a couple months. But me doing one homework assignment isn't necessarily going to get me into college, so it's really hard sometimes to do those things that are urgent but don't seem important in the long run. One example, personal example in my life is I'm a basketball coach. So while writing emails to parents isn't the most important thing in my everyday life, it is something I'm still required to do. And I can tell you I hate writing emails to parents more than anything, but I really try to take that time to do that right away rather than put it on the back burner. Try to get those urgent things accomplished as soon as you see them so it doesn't pile up on each other. Another trick I use for these delegate tasks is to either use your notes app in your phone or use like an index card. I'll sometimes write one and I'll bring it around with my folder and just write down every single task you have on it, even like the mundane little ones like writing an email. And once you accomplish those, you feel more accomplished and things start building and you gain motivation as you go. And that way the little tasks pile up and you're making more progress.
And then the final square of the Eisenhower method is delete, which are those things that are not urgent and not important. And a lot of these are those distractions of, we found like hobbies, things like, oh, I want to go play sport with my friends, I want to go read this book instead, that can get in the way of doing the stuff that's more important. And a couple questions that you can ask yourself to determine if something falls into the delete category are, will there be any consequences if this doesn't get done? Is this going to benefit me in the future? And are there more important things that I could be doing right now? Because you don't want to waste time on those things that don't need to be done now and are not super important to your overall success, especially when you have more pressing matters.
Okay, now to wrap up what we have learned about the Eisenhower method, we're going to play a little game to practice our new strategies. We have 2 to 3 volunteers from each class join us up on the stage for our game. If not, we can have teachers from those classes select people to participate.
Come on up, people.
Okay, perfect. As our last volunteers are coming up, I'm going to explain the game. We're playing a game of 4 corners. On the stage, there's colored cones that correlate to our little puzzle back here with all of our components. We're going to read a scenario for you, and using your best judgment, go to the color cone corresponding to the component that you think it matches the most.
Okay, so the first scenario is you have a paper due tonight and it's only halfway done. So due is correct. It's both urgent and important. It's due tonight and it's a paper, and a lot of times we know those are worth more percentages of our grades. Okay, the next one is you are president of an organization and some students have emailed you to ask you about tomorrow's meeting. It's about like responding to them. Like how urgent and important is it to respond to them? Okay, so we went with delegate on this one. Because, like Allie, one of the things that Allie talked about, it's urgent, but it's not super important to overall success. However, decide is also a reasonable option because it kind of fits between these 2 categories. The third scenario is you have a math assignment due tomorrow night, and it's not done. Okay, so this is another one that can kind of go either way. We went with decide. Because tomorrow night you're planning for the future. However, if there are less important things, if you don't have homework due tonight, then do is a great option for it. Get that done, and then you're going to have more free time tomorrow night. Okay, the next one is you have a scholarship application to complete and turn in by next week.
You have a scholarship.
By next week. Okay, yes, it is decide. Just because you don't have to do it right now, but you have to get it done at one point, especially for scholarship money and everything. So, figure that one. Okay, you just got a new book that you want to read. Maybe like a video game, you guys got to do that, whatever you're more inclined on. Yep, delete. Not urgent, not important, not something that's going to help you a lot. Maybe once you get your other stuff done. if you don't get that done, you're not going to be able to participate at all in that talk, and it's tomorrow. So great job, everybody. Thank you so much for... Short or long-term goals. So just overall, one sentence I want you guys for sure to take away from this. You always have time for the people, activities, and other goals that you care about most. So whatever you care about the most, you're going to get that done. For sure. And then one final thought, your time is going to be what you make it, so what do you want to have come out of that? And time management is really a balance of balancing what is important now and what's going to be important in the future. So always keep that in mind with your time management, and we hope that you were able to learn a couple things from this presentation.
Thank you so much for listening.
All right, that was an awesome presentation. We're going to get to our second group here on building relationships. Let's welcome to the stage Meg, Jasmine, Kenzie, and Hannah. Let's go.
Okay, good morning. I'm Kenzie.
I'm May. I'm Jasmine. And I'm Hannah.
And this is our leadership summit about building relationships. So we're going to start off with an ignite. And first, we're going to need a first group of 6. And we're going to pick from the leadership class. So go ahead and raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Go.
Okay. Obviously, they don't know each other. They've been in class for the whole year. And then we're going to pick 6 of you guys. So go ahead and raise your hand. Don't be shy. We're going to pick your random Carson. How many do you have? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3, 4. One more. 5. Oh, that's 6. Oh, I think that one. Okay. All right. Okay, now that you guys are all together, 3, 2, 1, you guys have to build a team of terrorists.
Yep, jack it up there. Jack it up.
Come on. Okay, give a round of applause for these guys. beforehand can really help with like teamwork, working together with other people. So obviously all these kids have been in class with each other for all like the 9 months, so they really gotten to know each other. They're all friends outside of the class. So you need to build a relationship with people beforehand.
Alright, so now the importance of building relationships. So I split it into 3 categories. The first one's networking, the second one is mental health and just your quality of life, and then the third one's building communities. So why networking is important is because this will help you out in your future, because you can meet people and build relationships with people that can hopefully help you out in your future. And then as far as mental health and your quality of life, when you interact with people, this actually releases serotonin, which is the chemical in your body that makes you happy. So interacting with people actually improves your mental state. And then for the third part, building a community, the more positive relationships that you build, the more positive interactions you're going to have just in your day-to-day life. Alright, and then if you guys want to write this down, this is our leadership quote. It is, building relationships is the foundation of social, emotional, and professional success. So, breaking up our 3 categories that I just mentioned, networking, mental health, and then building a sense of community. Professional success relates to networking, and then social success relates to like getting to know people, and then emotional success relates to like mental health.
Okay, and a personal story to talk about like the pyramid. So for example, our leadership and action group, they all knew each other, they trusted each other, and had confidence in each other. I can kind of relate this back to our soccer team from last year. We all really created a bond with each other from freshman to senior. Everybody knew each other. We all did after school things, we did dinners, we went to yogis, we went bowling as a team, and it resulted in us winning a regional title last year for the first time in 10 years.
Okay, what we want you to take away from this is the importance of building relationships, whether that's with your friends or coworkers, to create that good work environment. It's also important to build relationships with your teachers, especially for that senior year when you're looking for that recommendation letter, and you want somebody who knows you to write that. So it's important to have that connection with your teacher. It's also important as a leader to build relationships, so those peers will be more inclined to listen to you because they know they have that connection.
Okay, so another way this affected our lives personally, I know leadership and action group can really relate to this because Mr. Sterner is a really good example of how he builds relationships. With us specifically, I know for me, he likes to make sports bets against everything. So for example, the Super Bowl, I had the Chiefs winning and he had someone else winning. The Chiefs won, of course, and I got a pink lemonade. And then this March, we did the March Madness tournament, and I also won that, so I'm getting the cookie cake on Friday. And like Kenzie, I know him and Kenzie do a little pound candy thing where they each bring in a candy and we all try it to see which one is good. So I think that's really a good way to make relationships because there's different ways to do it. I mean, there's the sports betting, there's like just asking them how their day is going and what they're doing like on the weekend, and I think him and Monk do a really good job of doing that.
Here's our leadership nugget one more time, and we just want you guys to understand, like, building relationships in all aspects of your lives is important, whether that be in sports or in school or in your work, having a job. Like, it's always important to build with them, especially if you're a leader. You want to build relationships with the people you're leading to help your whole group, like, have better teamwork. And that's it.
so, and we're going to do a Q&A, and this is your opportunity as the audience to ask a lot of good questions to these groups, whether it's on time management, building relationships, or really anything leadership related. Okay, so the floor is now open for you guys, and we're hoping to get a lot of good questions.
Do we have anyone that wants to start us out with a question about either of our topics?
How important do you think are building relationships between students and teachers?
Okay, the question was how important is building relationships between students and teachers?
I can start us off. So, like we said in our presentation, it's important just because it'll make your day-to-day days at school better and everything like that. But then most of you are sophomores and juniors, and like heading into your senior year, you're gonna want to have good, solid relationships with your teachers because you're gonna want good letters of rec, and you want someone to be able to bend for you and say, oh yeah, they're a good student, they're a nice person, all of this, because it really helps you when you're trying to apply for colleges and just helps you with your future overall.
Adding on to that, I think having good relationships with your teachers is really important. Just because having that teacher that you really like in class and that actually wants to talk to you and build that relationship with you, it makes you want to show up to class. It makes you want to learn the topics that they're talking about, and it makes high school such a better experience, especially when you're like, if you don't like the class, even having a good teacher that you want or that you have a relationship with just makes the experience better.
And then this kind of ties into what Maddie said, but a lot of leadership is making people feel valued and like they belong in a place, and a teacher who actually cares about their students and finds ways to connect with them is going to make them feel valued. They're going to feel more important in that classroom, which then translates to them feeling like they should do their homework and they should put more effort into the assignments, stuff like that.
Do we have another question from the crowd?
How important do you think it is to keep your relationship between old friends that you used to know versus friends that you know more now than you did before?
Okay, so a question about relationships between old friends and new friends and which ones you should prioritize.
I think it's important to like stay friends with everyone, but obviously people grow out of like having friends, or like you have friend groups for different times in your life, and obviously you grow in and out of friends. So I'd say just like always be nice to everyone and like keep your friends.
There's no need to like burn a bridge with anybody that you maybe outgrew a friendship with. Like Kenzie said, you're not always going to be like the best fit friendship-wise for everybody, but there's no need to let that end in a fight if it doesn't have to.
Any other questions we got? Over there?
What do you think is the best skill for a leader to have?
What is the best skill a leader can have?
I kind of already touched on it, but being able to make other people feel valued and important in any type of like organization, sport, class, work environment, whatever. You never know what somebody's like going through outside of that, and if that is like the best part of their day. So making them feel like they have somewhere where they belong, I think is the best skill that any leader can have.
Kind of adding on to that, I think being able to connect with people and like definitely relate with them would be fun.
I think discipline is really important. I think discipline is a really important characteristic to have as a person, even if you're not in a leadership situation, but I think it translates over. If you're internally disciplined and you're motivated to your own goals, that will translate into who you are leading, and I don't think you can be a good leader without being disciplined to yourself first.
I also think being passionate is really important because I feel like you always want a leader that's always willing to go above and beyond for you and like the organization that you're in. Yeah.
I agree with what Madison said on making other people feel valued and going along with that, being able to be personable is really helpful to do that because when you're able to talk to different types of people, it helps you connect with different types of people, which then that's how you make somebody feel valued. It's getting to know them and showing that you care about them.
Any more questions?
Top.
What do you think is the biggest difference from freshman to senior year?
Okay, what's the biggest difference from freshman year to senior year?
I would say there's just way more responsibilities senior year compared to freshman year. Obviously, our experience freshman year was different because we were at home, it was COVID, but I feel like all we really had to do was join the clubs you wanted to do, play the sports you wanted to play, and then do your work. And now it's like college applications, scholarships, it's all these events, banquets, everything like that, and just learning how to kind of balance the time that you're putting into your future with everything that you have to focus on in the present, like all of your assignments and stuff like that.
I think I have a really interesting perspective because I'm a senior and my sister is also a freshman over at the freshman campus. It's really interesting to see, like, know who I am now and look back at her to where I was, and I would say now I'm a lot like she still has all her friends from middle school, and I'm like sitting here knowing I have all these new friends and new people I never thought I would even be friends with. And I think it's really cool to just look back and see how much I've changed to see where she is starting at, and to know that in 4 years when she's sitting here, she's not going to be the same either.
Senior year still has like its fair share of work, but you get to reap a lot of the benefits of like, for me, I knew like even from before I was in high school, like I wanted to go to a four-year school, I wanted to go to college, that was like always my goal. And then this year getting to like do those applications and find out where I got in and see what my options are has been really exciting. And then a lot of the like events and stuff as a senior are super fun, but freshman year was like a lot of the work and you didn't get to see a lot of those benefits right away. But getting to see senior year is like really exciting.
How did being in leadership in action change your perspective on time management and building relationships?
So how did our experience in this class change our perspective on both of our topics?
I think this class gave me a perspective, at least for time management's sake. Like it really showed me that, when you think about time management, maybe it doesn't seem like such a big deal, but especially with me being in a sport and I have a job, it's really hard to manage your time to get everything you need done, because there are things that you need to prioritize. But this class just really showed me that like if you care about it, you can do it. And I think that was, at least for time management, that it was the biggest takeaway for me.
I think for building relationships, it's definitely challenged it because with our freshmen, for example, we can't really relate to them in a way, but like also we could because we've been through freshman year and we know like experiences. But also like within our own class, like they've always switched up our groups. We've been with different people. We work with different people all the time, and I feel like it's definitely challenged us because then we open up to new people, we talk to new people, we are working with new people.
So both of my teachers, Sterner and Monk, are also my coaches. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic, but I think it was really cool for me to see like this year as I became a coach of people, I can see like perspectives of other people, so they allowed me to see like why they do some things the way they do and why other coaches I have had done some things the way they do, so their position as my coach really influenced how I coach as well, and like showed me that dynamic before I even started of like what it is like to lead the people you coach and the people underneath you, and it really influenced how I built relationships with the players on my team and also the parents affiliated with that. But also for our topic of time management, it really showed me how important I was to these younger girls that I coach and how I need to be an influential role in them, in their experience. So I'm going to manage my time so I can give them more of my time and I can support them more.
Overall, like this class I think taught me a lot about how important both of these topics are, especially my experiences with my freshman year, where at first it was very awkward and nobody wanted to talk to me, and then second week it was like a completely different ballgame, and everybody was interested in what I had to say, and like building those relationships was obviously super important. And then something else that I saw with my freshmen is that like they don't know time management whatsoever, and it's kind of just like this mystery concept to them. And that definitely, for at least for me, influenced why we picked this topic, to hopefully be able to give some actual tips, because it's not something that anybody teaches you. You're just kind of expected to figure it out, and if you don't, you're kind of screwed in the long run. So I hope that like we were able to help with that in this class, and my experiences with my freshmen definitely taught me the importance of time management.
This class kind of opened my eyes to the fact that it's not always easy to build relationships with everyone, because in the past I've never really had a problem with that, and I just kind of went into it thinking, oh, it's going to be no problem for me to connect with the freshmen and build relationships with them, and it actually was a bit of a challenge. It took some time, so yeah, I know now for the future that it's not always just going to be easy in every single situation to build a relationship with somebody.
I think we still have a few more minutes if we have like 1 or 2 more questions. From the top.
How do you guys plan on like implementing these skills into your life, like after high school? Like when life gets more busy and you have so many things coming at you at once, and like time management in college.
Okay, so how are we going to implement these skills we learned in leadership and action into our lives after high school?
So I had said how like a 4-year college was always my goal, and now I am doing that, and I know I'm already planning for like my classes next year, and I'm going to have a pretty heavy workload. So working on eliminating distractions, especially. I know at the beginning it's going to be tough because I'm going to want to get to know everybody. I'm moving away from home. I don't know anybody else going to my school. So also building relationships in that sense is going to be super important because I will not know anybody. So what they talked about with like the importance of creating that network, I think is going to be super important after high school. And then as for time management, like there's nobody in college who's going to be on my back like, hey, you need to get this stuff done. It's on me to do it. And if I don't do it, it's just not going to get done. And that's going to have a much bigger consequence in college than it would now.
So I'm going to college and I'm planning on rushing in a sorority, and I feel like building relationships and leadership and action will also help me build relationships when I'm talking to like new girls and also like meeting new people in college. Like you have to be able to build relationships with like brand new people who know nothing about you. And so yeah.
For me, for college, I'm playing softball in college, so building relationships with all these new girls I'm going to have to meet. And I'm going to be rooming with one of the girls on the softball team that's also coming in. So building these relationships, especially early on when I first get there, is going to be so important for the next 4 years for me. And I think that being like rooming with another girl that has the same interests as me is going to really help me manage my time because we're both going to be doing the same things. And yeah, I think we're just having that dynamic is going to push us more.
Hey guys, real quickly, we're privileged to have some alumni join us today, and the question was about managing your time in college, and we would like to hear their perspective of students who are actually in college right now.
The biggest thing that I learned is just that really make relationships and connect with people because it is important and it helps. And because when you first go to college, you're meeting all these new people and everyone's trying to find people. And being able to like do college with friends and stuff like that makes it so much easier. And like wherever you are in life. And as far as like time management, focus on like schoolwork and other activities, but don't crowd yourself too much. And it's okay to drop a class because it's too intimidating. Like you can always change stuff, and wherever else that applies. But yeah, make sure you prioritize.
So one of the things that I have is I go to MCC, so like with time management, it's very hard. Like you're in your same, like pretty much your same environment. So like getting out and doing stuff like out of your norm. Like for me, like I try not to do like my homework at home, sitting in my room. I try to go to school and do it like where I won't have as much distractions. And then don't be afraid to talk to people. Like it is like if you guys are going away, like it's hard to like you are like by yourself at first, but like don't be afraid for those interactions. And
I'd say like most of the people you meet like in your classes, they're going to be in your classes like for all 4 years. So make sure to like build relationships and the people that you have in your classes, because you'll be able to do homework and do projects with them. And that's how you build relationships with people that, you know, are in the same field as you going forward after college also. So.
Thank you guys. We got about 30 seconds left anyways. One more time, let's give a hand to our team.
Well,